Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on where you are. Welcome back to an episode of the weekly market update with Irfan Khan and Joseph DiVirgilio.
And what investors must know this week moving forward. Hey, I want to thank everybody for being so patient. We were gone for about a month. I had travels to do and some personal issues to take care of in the United States and Asia. And so here we're back. We're back here and we're ready. So many things have happened. I mean, so many things have happened ever since we're gone. Some big news, some smaller news. But we will get to all that with markets and stock of the week and recap of economic data. But as we usually do, we will start with the statistic of the week. Go ahead, Irfan.
Yeah, so the monster effect, and we're not talking about some crazy movie like Monster or something you've heard in, read in storybooks. We're talking about the drink, the Monster beverage. So if you had
You know,
invested
I
a
never
modest,
had any. Never had one ever. I never drank a Monster beverage in my life.
yeah, I don't think I've had one either. I must have had Red Bull years and years ago, and that's it, something
I've done
similar.
that. Too. I've done that years ago, but Monster beverage
Yeah.
never.
So if you had invested a modest $2 a day into Monster Beverage instead of buying a can of energy drink from 2002 to 2026, your $17,676 principal would have compounded into roughly 4.8 million. No,
Four
no,
4.18.
billion.
4.18 million. Yeah, 4.1
Oh,
million.
million. Yes, sorry. Yeah, 4.18 million. I wish it was billion. Anyway,
Uh,
4.18 million. Bear with me.
It'll be a
I
lot.
wish it had been billion, but no. 4.18 million, but not too shabby, let's say.
Yeah, now that's called a monster effect, but we also have to take in consideration the fact that that's one outlier. Because I think if I remember correctly, it was Coca-Cola that ended up buying a majority in the company, a majority stake in the company, and so yeah, I mean the stock did extremely well, and I think I had at some point something a statistic regarding buying. I would have to look into this, but if you didn't buy a new iPhone every single time that it came out, but you instead invested the value of a new iPhone into Apple stock, I think that you, after 10 years, you would have something like $3.5 million or something like that. So it was like, but this is an outlier. Don't think that you can just go ahead and go into any stock and that's gonna just gonna generate the same type of returns.
Imagine 20% of people will be buying iPhones, stop buying iPhones to buying the stock, and then the stock doesn't rise because the sales have been going down.
There you go. So, okay, equity market recap. I'm going to read off my notes here on my screen. Equity market recaps pulled back sharply during the weekend on July 17, 2026, driven by a widening sell-off in artificial intelligence and semiconductor stocks. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of I think that here we're right on the edge. A lot of these stocks are sitting on their 50-day moving average or right below, and if they don't get above it, there's likely of a bear market here for these stocks. But again, I am maybe I'm overly optimistic, but the second half of a midterm election year typically results in an outperformance, and typically is tech stocks that lead the way. Now, one may say that we're in a very different situation because of the current administration, that it's really gotten engaged into things that they're not supposed to be doing, or tested the waters of things that nobody else has done. For example, with the Iran war,
Mhm.
and we have in the United States, I would call it hyperinflation if it's not because the CPI number, the Consumer Price Index number, doesn't show that. But everyday Americans feel like they have. They feel the pain. I mean, at the gas pump, at the grocery store. If it wasn't because CPI is not telling you that, you would think that you are in almost a hyperinflationary, cycle. But nevertheless, so despite a milder than expected U.S. consumer price inflation report, which leads into what I was saying, Early in the week, investors chose to systematically rotate out of high beta momentum stocks in favor of defensive sectors and value plays, such as utilities, consumer staples, and all the other defensive sectors that usually are the opposite of the high beta or more aggressive growth sectors. So energy has been one of them, actually, although energy is not considered a defensive sector. But so utilities, healthcare. There you go. Healthcare is the other one I was looking for, and I couldn't mash it up. So Nasdaq was down 2.9% for the week. The S&P 500 was down 1.5% for the week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 0.77 for the week, and the Stock 600 European stocks was up 0.8%. Now, plus 0.08%. So that doesn't really translate to the fact that we are seeing a divergence between European and U.S. stocks, but European stocks have been doing a lot better recently, and again, it's too early to say that everybody should pile up into European stocks because they're going to be better than the U.S. stocks. I don't know that yet, but the trend looks that way for now, and the geopolitical issues they're not ripening or fertilizing the field for a clear outperformance for European stocks, because Europe is directly connected to the Strait of Hormuz and what's going on with the flow of energy coming out of there and everything else.
And precisely for what you're saying, one would be ill-advised to just all of a sudden start rotating completely from, say, US all the way to Europe, right? Or start going heavily on Europe, right?
Exactly. But if you look at some of the if you look at the sectors that I told you before, like utilities, healthcare, and consumer staples, they've been actually, and energy actually, consumer staples a little less. But energy, they've been doing better than the rest of the market in the United States. So you don't want to say, okay, I'm just going to get out of the U.S. altogether. There are sectors that are continuing to do okay, and so. Yeah. But this divergence, it may happen, it may not. We'll have to see which one is going to, in the coming weeks, we'll see which one is going to outperform what, and you have to compare also sectors by sector in Europe and U.S. and try to understand what dynamics are playing out in order for you to make up your mind afterwards. But so geopolitical flares up, tensions between the United States and Iran escalated after military strikes near the Strait of Hormuz.
I wonder when we're going to see the end of this.
I don't know. I triggered a sharp spike in Brent crude. Now I think oil's above $90 a barrel again, Brent. It was 86 last week. I think we're trading above that now. Today is Monday, the 20th of July. Mixed earnings and corporate highlights. Second quarter corporate earnings started strong. Major banks like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs topped estimate, steering capital towards the financial sector. Conversely, Netflix fell 9%. Now, okay, I will look at banks more than I will look at Netflix before I say, okay, there's something wrong with earnings in the United States. Weaker. Netflix announced weaker forward revenue guidance, and SpaceX fell over 5% on Friday, following the aborted Starship test launch, pulling its valuation from a recent IPO highs. Now, I think that SpaceX is heading for a below $1 trillion market cap, in my view, if it's not there yet, but. Again, overvalued, and it's one of those stocks that, along with AI and microchips, they're vulnerable because of, the valuation, and also because whatever was stated on their offering memorandum, which to me was a bit crazy. Colonizing Mars, data centers in space and orbit, and but many of these things may not happen because we still don't have the technology. I don't know. It was so crazy. This is what the actual offering memorandum of the stock or the offering said when they went public. Promising macro data. U.S. retail sales edge up 0.2% in June, proving consumer resilience. Headline CPI also cooled sharply. But now I'm going to say something about the CPI number that came out last week. Trump tweeted on his fucking TruthSocial bullshit platform. He's like, "Oh, look at this, better than expected, better inflation." Better inflation, my ass. Energy came down because there was a ceasefire between the United States and Iran. So we saw Brent crude and WTI come down from 110, 105, whatever number that was a couple of months ago, down into the 70s and 80s. But now that this shit is happening again, expect the CPI, the next CPI print to go right back up where it was, 2-3 months ago. Because obviously, if you don't understand anything about economics and you're cheering your short-term prints, that's not going to get you anywhere. This is I forgot what he said. Something to the effect. Better than expected inflation, that we're doing our job, we're doing the bullshit.
Something that he hoped was going to sort of increase his rating somehow.
I don't know. Look, I am so tired of trying to explain to the world that this guy is completely out of his mind, and that everything that he says is just to hype something, and that the hype is base of brainless, brain dead followers. And I don't want to insult anybody, but the truth of the matter is, anybody who is on board with this economic agenda and geopolitical policy, they need to seek psychiatric help like now, yesterday, because we are less safe. Us Americans are less safe. Prices are going up. I remember when Joe Biden had, he inherited this COVID situation, and people were blaming Biden for inflation back in 2021. But let's not forget that inflation started spiking in March of 2021, when 2 months after Biden was elected, right? So there was no way that Biden was responsible for any inflation within a month and a half that after he was elected. So there's just no
any more time than that. Yeah.
So the discussion is around today, Iran again, the Strait of Hormuz. We're back in play. We're talking about the same shit that we were talking about 3-4 months ago. Fertilizers are going up again because of gas and oil prices spiking and not moving through the Strait of Hormuz. And then again, I have a feeling that Americans are going to see $7, $8 a gallon very soon at the gas pump, because what's happening now is that while oil was somewhat capped because around the world, and especially the United States, were releasing strategic oil reserves, so they were tapping into the strategic oil reserves to tamper the spike in oil prices. Those fucking reserves are gone. And that's why he's panicking. That's why Trump is panicking. Those reserves are gone. There's nowhere to go. You're not going to tap into anything right now.
And so at that point, why go and attack Iran again?
I don't know. He thinks that he has leverage. He lost the first round. Look, Iran is much stronger than it was before. They know they can. Nobody ever wanted to test their leverage on the Strait of Hormuz. Nobody in history wanted to do that. Now, again, and then again, remember, there's Netanyahu that is pushing him to continue doing this for his own benefit, because otherwise he goes to jail for corruption.
The forever war, yeah.
And Trump, because of his ties to the Epstein files, and he's mentioned on the Epstein files more than Jesus is in the Bible. So of course, this is a win-win for both of them. Let's continue doing this shit, but the Americans are the ones who are feeling the pinch, and that's the end of the story. And whoever supports this, they're out of their fucking minds. So I want to talk about something that happened last week, where there were reports where Trump had floated the idea of charging, I think it was $100,000 a month, or I could be wrong. I think it was $100,000 a month, a fee for insider trading information on.
Basically, that's what it is, right? Yeah.
So you join TruthSocial through this special membership fee of $100,000 a month or whatever, or a year. I think it's a month, and he will tell you on Truth Social, this private, membership club of Truth Social, what he's going to say in public, so you can
In a
make,
half an hour.
yeah, so in a half an hour, and you can, make your bets on the stock market. Let me be very clear about this, okay? The law says that if you are in possession of insider information, okay, and remember, inside information is given to those on a need-to-know basis because you either are working on a deal with the company and you have to know you're a corporate attorney, or you're, I don't know, you're an investment banker, you're working on a particular. You cannot divulge information to anybody, because if you do, you will go to jail. And who goes to jail? Those who actually act upon the inside information. So out in the open, this fucking guy, is saying, I'm going to give you inside information, which is it's illegal, and you're going to act upon it, which is fucking illegal. So the White House has essentially become a racketeering center, like some sort of a mafia operation. And this is crazy. Had I done something like that in my fucking 25 plus years on Wall Street, I would be in jail. So right out in the open, this is what's going on, and I'm pretty freaking pissed about this. I really am.
Yeah.
This is right.
The standards that need to be upheld depend on
The president of the
who's
United
trying
States.
to.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I think about it, if Clinton, or I don't know, Obama, or Biden,
Reagan,
if they
whatever.
had done
Yeah.
any of this, it'd be a massive scandal, massive. But since Trump is breaking the law on a regular basis, like every 15 seconds, it's just another breaking the law session, of the day. It's like incredible, unbelievable. And anybody who buys into this fucking bullshit, let's see if I can pay $100,000, a month to have inside information, an inside information edge on the market. They'll go to jail. He's going to pardon all of the people who actually gave him money for inside information?
No, you'd be a bit foolish to go and spend $100,000 a month.
He pardoned 1,600 fucking people that stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021. So you never know. But let's move on to something a little, something happier. Go Spain! Yeah, Spain won the World Cup. I'm pretty happy about that. Not that I'm not trashing Argentina, but they're a bit, I don't know, exuberant when they win. I like the fact that Europeans have won. I'm an American. I'm originally from Italy. My parents were from Italy, so.
And we're European, so hey, we're cheering for the European team.
Yeah, I sympathize with Europe mainland mainly. I knew the U.S., which I am an American by birth. Of course, I'm an American myself, but the U.S. I don't think they had it to win the World Cup. It's just I think they haven't been around long enough to get to something like that. To have
the U.S. focused on other sports mostly.
Yeah, let them, let America play their American football, baseball, basketball, and hockey, whatever. And they're good at that. That's one thing. When we say the World Cup, we're the world winners. With not the World Cup. Sorry, when I'm talking about the Super Bowl. The champions of the world at the Super Bowl. Yeah, because you're the only one playing that game. So of course you're the planet's whatever you call it.
Yeah, I would still call it egg hand rather than football.
I don't know why we call it football when you're really using your hand, but okay.
If I remember correctly, in American football, in the NFL, there's only one player per team that is allowed to actually hit it with his foot, right?
I don't even know because I don't even follow American football.
Okay.
I rather watch baseball, which is calm, relaxing. Football, I don't know. For me, it's. Now, stock of the week, TXG, 10X Genomics. We talked about this 4 months ago. Look at what the stock did. Did very well. It has been coming down in the last couple days, 2-3 days last week, and it did get hit hard like with the rest of AI stocks. This is a company that deals with genomics and basically uses AI to help the healthcare industry, just like Tempus AI, which is another stock that and by the way, Tempus AI, which is a stock that I've been having for about over a year and a half now, close to 2 years I've had Tempus AI. Trump just filed his holdings, and he bought some of the stock a month or 2 months ago.
So would you just go and sell it now?
Yeah, I wonder if I should because everything this guy touches turns into shit. So I don't know. I mean, but I like the company. I like what they do. I'm going to
That's no Midas touch, is there? Is it?
say it again.
That's no Midas touch, is it?
No, wait. I didn't hear you.
Midas touch, like King Mida. There was this
Oh, King Media. Oh, yeah,
story
yeah.
about
Midas
he
touch.
touches something which is
Turn
like
to gold.
human excrement, and then it turns it in gold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Midas touch. That's correct. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, no, no, it's not. Unfortunately, not. It's the complete opposite. Everything he touches
No,
turns into
yeah.
shit. I mean, the guy bankrupted a casino business. I mean,
That's a joke in
I used to,
itself. That's a joke in
I
itself.
used to count cards and I used to win a guy. I mean, I was at a Trump Castle in 1993. I remember this. So I was there and I opened up a table with $50 and I had like 2,000, 3,000 bucks after 20 minutes or so. And somebody came up to me saying, "Sir, we have to ask you to leave because you're too good for us." But so they threw me out. But nevertheless, he bankrupted a casino business. They had a number. We had Taj Mahal, which Carl Icahn ended up rescuing for him, and a bunch of other casinos. I mean, who bankrupts a casino when the house always wins? But that's another discussion
Almost
because
always.
it technically seems like it was a Russian money laundering operation. So you bankrupt purposely because that's what you want to do to actually make your money laundering legit. So,
Mm.
anyways. So that's it for us. Oh, listen, guys, we're back. We're going to try to wrap up what happens with the markets. With what happened last week, what happens next week, what our thoughts are about the stock market and what's going on. And so, if we'd love it if you can follow us, subscribe to the channel, share, comment, suggest what you want us to talk about because we're here to do that. And we don't put any brakes on what we say. As you can see, we'll tell anybody to go fuck themselves, whether it's the Democrats or Republicans. We don't care. We're just the way we are.
And let's not forget that what we discuss over here is something that it does not constitute financial advice. It's
Correct.
sharing information on what is being done by other people,
In our
and
portfolio.
yeah, and therefore for if you're curious about any of the stocks that are being discussed, feel free to take note, take it to your financial advisor and see if he or she thinks that that's something that will make sense for you.
Correct. Never take this as financial advice. We're not. We're
Yeah,
discussing our portfolio and what we see in the market. So please feel
yeah.
free again to subscribe, comment, share, and like our video. It helps us a lot. We were growing up until the month that we had to take off, and
Start growing again.
we're hoping to continue to do so. All right. So we'll see each other next week, and we'll go back resuming our segments on Sundays instead of Mondays.
Hmm.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.